It's my pleasure to be here today to speak to you about Green Monday and how we started this David versus Goliath movement. I think one of the reasons why the organizer chose me as one of the speakers is that after they look at the speaker list, they realize if the theme is David and Goliath, they lack a David. So here I am. Well, Green Monday, in a very short time, has accomplished a lot. I actually just came back from the States this morning as I was in New York, in the South, in Alabama, speaking to different people about the progress of Green Monday in Hong Kong and how this can become a prevalent global movement to help the planet in terms of achieving health and also environmental awareness. We are a Hong Kong-based social enterprise that promotes and enables green and healthy and sustainable living. Through promoting vegetarianism and also food rescue efforts, we established the platform that enables corporations, restaurants, individuals, schools to participate in this joint effort to reduce carbon footprints and perform our social responsibilities. Now, there are a few key words in this statement. In this mission statement: sustainability, corporate social responsibility, environment. And these are words that we all talked about. We all know the importance of how to achieve sustainability, but very few people know how. If I want to contribute to social responsibility, if I want to contribute to sustainability, how can I do that? Now, before we talk about how and how we need to achieve sustainability, we need to think about why. Okay, what is the Goliath? Look at this picture. What are the two words you can think of? Excuse me? Isolated. Loss. It looks like just polar bear in North Pole losing ice and not having home to stay. But the truth is, this is not just a matter of polar bear in North Pole. This is a matter of the entire world. The biggest issue or the biggest crisis that our entire planet is facing, not 10 years later, not 100 years later. The biggest problem that our planet is facing today is called global warming or climate change. This is not from the movie The Day After Tomorrow. This is actually what took place 2 months ago at Lake Michigan in Chicago. Chicago was negative 30 degrees Celsius. This is 2 months ago. And the entire United States was below zero. Majority of the states recorded record low temperature. At the same time, it's not just record low when we are talking about climate change. We are talking about a more extreme scope or band of where climate is fluctuating. So all the numbers that you see on this chart, these are record temperature from 2013. I'll give you some examples that are very staggering. For example, this place. Well, we all know where Alaska is. It's supposed to be very cold. Last year, it recorded 36.7 degrees Celsius. Another place, Greenland. Well, Greenland is actually more like white land because 80% of Greenland is covered with ice. But Greenland recorded 25.9 degrees. Well, 25.9 degrees is Hong Kong weather today. But this weather is happening in Greenland. Look at the south. Sydney, 45.8 degrees. And a number that we didn't even put in here is Central Australia recorded 54 degrees Celsius, which is 30 degrees hotter than we are today. 30 degrees hotter. And so on and so forth. Now, this is not just a matter of climate, hot, cold. This change in weather changes everything on this planet. It changes how any beings or any creatures can live? Can we actually survive in this extreme climate? Can our planet survive? So, for example, here are some studies. This is very recent from last year, an article. 14 US cities could disappear within the next century. And on the top 10 of the list, you see names like New York. You see names like Miami. You see names like Los Angeles. And these are some of the biggest metropolis in the world. So what caused global warming? What is the reason behind climate change? I think many of us know the term carbon footprint. Because there's carbon emission, the world is getting hotter and climate change is becoming more and more serious. A lot of people think that climate change or carbon footprint is because of transportation. So when we talk about low carbon way of living, some people would think about riding a bike, taking public transportation, using less electricity, for example. But the United Nations over the last 10 years has been talking about one message, repeat and repeat over and over again, one message. And that is, the biggest reason for global warming is the food we eat, or specifically the choice of food we eat. When we choose meat, what you don't know is that it is one of the biggest reasons that is causing our environmental problem. 18% of greenhouse gas, according to the United Nations, is from the livestock industry. This chart here is from the blog of a pretty smart person on this planet. His name is Bill Gates. He's pretty smart, right? On a blog that he posted exactly 1 year ago, in March, he showed many, many charts, and one of the charts is this one. To produce 1 kilogram of protein, how much CO2 is generated? In the middle, you see mutton. Here you see beef, pork, chicken, and finally, tofu, or plant-based diet. The carbon emission between a meat meal and a veggie or non-meat meal, you're talking about staggering difference, 10-fold, 20-fold. Another reason that meat is not good for the environment, and these again are data from the UN, is that it consumes a lot of water and a lot of land resources. So for example, same amount of food, plant-based diet versus meat, let's say a steak. Plant-based diet of this amount of food, which is usually a meal, consumes 390 liters of water. For the same amount of food, if you change that to steak, it becomes 4,650 liters of water. Now, how much water does one person consume each day? Anyone? How much water do we consume? Per day? You consume 100 liters of water per day? Usually, a person consumes 2 liters of water per day. That's if you drink 8 cups of water. If you drink less than 8 cups, then chances are it's less than 2. So 4,600 liters of water is equivalent to 2,300 days, which is equivalent to almost 7 years of drinking water of one human being. And just from eating a piece of steak, you consume that. Land, same thing. 1 kg of protein, non-meat versus meat. Oh, just about 50 times worse. Now, it's not just the environment, it's also about health. On our planet today, we have close to 1 billion people who are starving on a day-to-day basis. But at the same time, we have 1.6 billion people who are suffering from overnutrition. Think about it. 1 billion, nothing to eat. 1.6 billion, eat too much. that your problem becomes this. Now, if you eat so much meat, what is the problem? Is that your risk of getting cancer, heart disease, or actually any type of health problems become much higher. So, for example, just to list the highest case of cancer in Hong Kong, which is colon cancer. If you're a meat eater, your risk is 88% chance higher. That's pretty significant. So if we have to start this movement, David versus Goliath, veggie versus meat, what are we looking at in Hong Kong, let's say? What percentage of Hong Kong population is vegetarian and what percent is not? The answer is 2 versus 98. So I think this qualifies as a David versus Goliath. So here comes David. Well, here comes me. And, of course, the entire team of Green Monday. We say that it doesn't need to be David. We don't have to treat it as a 2 versus 98 case. Because if you find your allies, if you find the right partners, you can easily turn that around. And within 2 short years, we have. Well, first of all, who are the allies? Again, him again. He became vegetarian a few years ago and is now actively promoting vegetarianism and healthy diet in schools all over America. These people all have been talking about the benefits of vegetarianism. More. Now, this is not just a Hong Kong movement starting just purely from us. There are 30-something countries in the world that have this Meatless Monday movement that is talking about at least to have a green start, to have a healthy start. 1 day of vegetarianism a week. Now, what is the magic behind Monday? Okay, if it is going to be 1 day a week, why Monday? Well, scientists and researchers have done a lot of study about human behavior. And you know how each year at New Year, everyone set New Year resolution. Exercise more, lose weight, study harder. And they're all forgotten within a week. But here comes Monday. Monday is the new year of the week, except it comes 52 times. So right about the time when you forget about your resolution, it comes again. And the amazing thing is, no matter if you're trying to quit smoking, make a doctor's appointment, start exercising, or begin a diet like vegetarianism, Monday is always the day that people choose to start their behavior change. So, all over the world, Norwegian Army, 700,000 students at LA School District, country like Israel, have been adopting Meatless Monday and achieving great results. So here in Hong Kong, we launched 2 years ago, and we call it Green Monday because we think this is not purely about just meat versus veggie. This is about adopting a whole new mindset of how we can contribute to sustainability and to social responsibility, and how we can start a whole green lifestyle. So we started this movement. We say that in all Hong Kong, if all 7 million people join Green Monday, so going meat-free 1 day a week, it is equivalent to reducing carbon by 1.5 million tons. Now remember, I said carbon emission, the biggest reason is meat. So 1.5 million tons is equivalent to 65 million trees. Now, forget about planting 65 million trees. Planting 6,500 trees is a difficult task. So that's the formula. 7 million people, Green Monday. Reduce 1.5 million tons of carbon, 65 million trees. By setting the goal, we invite even more people who are influential to join in the movement and spread the words. Restaurants, thousands of restaurants are joining the movement. Schools, we are in 500,000 students, 600 plus schools in primary, secondary, and of course university. And for students, before Green Monday, when they have a choice to choose vegetarian, it used to be only 4% students would choose. Now we're up to 42%. On a voluntary basis, that's a 10-fold change in behavior. More corporations are joining in. So remember I was showing how we are 2% versus 98? Well, it doesn't look so bad now after 2 years. In a recent study that we were surveying all Hong Kong, we found out that over 22% Hong Kong population are adopting a meatless, a vegetarian day, 1 day a week. In fact, of those 22%, half of those people are either half-time vegetarian or even full-time vegetarian. So one of the things that the media credited us was last year, for example, we were called the idea of the year. And this is not about us. This is about a platform that enables everyone to fulfill their responsibility and to go green. Now, in closing, am I trying to state the fact that, hey, the David, the vegetarian, is starting to make a movement and starting to win or make at least more progress in the war to beat the Goliath? And my answer is, this is not actually a battle between veggie versus meat. Gandhi once said that Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. In 1970, when the Earth Day movement started, April 22nd, which is coming up in a month, April 22nd is Earth Day, and it's a global celebration that started in 1970. The theme that they stated from day one is that we have met the enemy, and the enemy is us. When I talk about global warming, when I talk about all the climate change, environmental problem, who caused that? It did not happen on its own. It did not start by itself. We caused it. And now we need to fix it. We are the solution, but we are also the enemy. So the real David and the real Goliath is not meat, it's not veggie, it's not warm weather, cold weather. The Goliath is our ignorance and inertia. And the David is what we need to empower from each one of us is awaken and action. Thank you.